member of Spellbinders design team. In this video, I'm going to show you how to create an elegant Giving Thanks card using Spellbinders Classic Collection, and we'll show you how easy it is to combine dies within one line for stunning results. I will be using Labels 48 as well as Labels 48 Decorative Elements, and because I will be making a square card, I also have 6x6 Matting Basics A and B dies from Card Creator line. I'm going to begin working on my project by die cutting my base panel. I'm using dies number 8 from the Matting Basics B set and die number 7 from the Matting Basics A set. Die cutting and embossing a panel using a smaller of the two dies out of this beautiful white patterned paper in my platinum machine. I'm using my platform, my two clear plates, and sandwiching the paper and the die in between the plates and cutting. Also going to emboss this element to give it additional detail and dimension using the embossing mat and embossing plate. I've also die cut another panel out of gold mirror cardstock, and I'm going to adhere my patterned paper panel on top of the gold mirror panel. While I have my die cutting machine out, I'm also going to die cut my main element using Labels 48 Decorative Elements die. I'm using the main largest die as well as the dotted insert. The insert doesn't cut anything other than the little dots. So I'm stacking these two together using a piece of washi tape and cutting both dies at once in my platinum machine. I'm going to remove the dotted insert and add another die to cut the inside of this element out. The die that I'm adding is from another set, from Labels 48, but because I'm using Labels 48 and Labels 48 Decorative Elements, the two dies complement each other nicely. Also taping this die in place using washi tape, going to once again cut it and then switch to my embossing sandwich and emboss this element using both dies. And look at this beautiful piece. I just love that gold and all of the embossed detail. The inner piece we don't need. We can just set it aside and use on a different project. I need to die cut a few more additional elements for this card, and I'm using dies from Label 48 and Labels 48 Decorative Elements sets again, and cutting these out of thick pearlescent cardstock. I'm cutting and also embossing both to give them additional detail. Using my tool-in-one to help me clean my die cut and then setting it aside. I will now go back to the base panels and work on these for my project. I've added zigzag stitching to one of my base panel die cuts, the one cut out of patterned paper, and I'm going to adhere it onto my gold panel. I'm adding adhesive to the back of this piece and adhering it on top of the gold one. I'm going to lift up the edges of my top panel to add a little bit of dimension to this project. Now be careful when doing this to avoid getting paper cuts. Next, go ahead and adhere this onto your 6x6 card base. I created mine out of beautiful, thick pearlescent paper, and I'm going to work on adding my other die cut elements on top. I've added foam adhesive squares to the back of my main die cut, and I'm going to adhere it onto my card base. I always love to use foam adhesive squares with my die cuts to help them pop and stand out on my projects. I've heat embossed a Give Thanks sentiment using gold embossing powder. However, you can choose to use whatever sentiment you prefer. This card design would work great for many different occasions, including birthday, holiday, and many more. I'm using a few more foam adhesive squares to mount the rest of my die cut layers, and finally adding the sentiment panel on top. As a one last step, I added several white self-adhesive pearls and finished making my card. I hope this video has inspired you to create with your Spellbinders dies. Be sure to come back and watch other videos on our channel for more ideas. If you have any questions about this project, please leave them in the comments section below, and be sure to subscribe to Spellbinders YouTube channel for more education and inspiration. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye!